The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, which is based on the ideas of virtue, fortitude, and inner strength, provides insights about routines that might impede one's growth as a person and erode their character. The core virtues of Stoic ethics, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are undermined by these behaviors, according to the Stoic perspective. People can develop stronger mental toughness and more closely connect with Stoic principles by recognizing and addressing these tendencies. Too much avoidance of unease. Modern society's widespread tendency of excessive discomfort avoidance runs counter to Stoic beliefs, which encourage viewing obstacles as chances for personal development. People lose out on important experiences and lessons that build resilience and inner strength when they continuously seek comfort and shun suffering. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on accepting discomfort as a necessary part of life's journey and on meeting adversity head-on with courage. This behavior is frequently the result of an attempt to keep control over one's surroundings and a sense of security. But according to the Stoic perspective, real security arises from strengthening one's inner resilience to face life's uncertainties head-on without hesitation or fear. Avoiding discomfort may result in a decreased ability to handle hardship when it does occur. Through deliberate and purposeful pursuit of discomfort, people can enhance their resilience and cultivate a more profound sense of self-assurance. According to Stoic philosophy, enduring hardship with composure and elegance fosters virtues like bravery and temperance. Overcoming obstacles builds character and helps one live a more purposeful and happy life. Stoicism's avoidance of uncomfort. The Stoic school of thought places a strong emphasis on accepting discomfort as a means of achieving virtue and inner strength. Ignoring discomfort is a reflection of a misapplication of Stoic ideas, which encourage meeting obstacles head-on with bravery and resiliency. Discomfort is seen in Stoicism as a chance for development and betterment. People who voluntarily face discomfort build resilience and the ability to bear adversity with composure. Avoiding discomfort is frequently motivated by a fear of failing or a need for instant reward. To develop mental toughness, Stoics advocate for deliberate suffering practices like fasting or overcoming physical obstacles. Accepting discomfort is consistent with the Stoic principles of self-control and self-mastery. Stoics hold that wisdom and fortitude are developed via suffering misfortune without complaining. A life free of significant challenges can become unfulfilling and stagnate if suffering is avoided. According to Stoicism, real fulfillment can only be attained by overcoming challenges and developing through hardship. Ignorance of introspection. Self-denial is a bad habit that contradicts the tenets of Stoicism, which emphasize self-awareness and personal development. Regular introspection is seen as necessary in Stoicism to cultivate characteristics such as temperance and wisdom. People who avoid self-reflection lose out on chances to evaluate their beliefs, actions, and moral principles. This omission may cause one to become unclear about their areas of strength, weakness, and development. Stoics stress the significance of having a thorough understanding of oneself in order to match moral ideas with deeds. A lack of progress toward living a more fulfilled life and moral stagnation might arise from neglecting self-reflection. Self-reflection enables people to recognize behavioral tendencies that can be impeding their own growth. It helps kids to develop qualities like resilience and self-control and make deliberate changes. Never-ending complaining. Constant grumbling is a bad habit that contradicts the acceptance and fortitude of Stoicism. Stoicism emphasizes the value of concentrating on what is under your control as opposed to moping about uncontrollable circumstances. People who constantly complain weaken their feeling of agency and inner power by perpetuating a victim mindset. Rather than moaning over problems, Stoics advise facing life's obstacles head-on and looking for answers. Over-complaining is a sign of a lack of appreciation and an undue focus on one's own misery. Stoicism urges people to have an attitude of proactivity when facing problems and to practice thankfulness for what they already have. Furthermore, persistent whining creates a vicious circle of unhappiness and negativity. Stoics think that leading a happy and resilient life is a result of concentrating on one's inner values and keeping an optimistic outlook. Stoics advocate for practicing acceptance and reinterpreting setbacks as chances for personal development rather than whining. People can nurture inner calm and become more emotionally resilient by adopting a Stoic mindset. Looking for outside validation. The practice of seeking approval from others can be detrimental to one's resilience and character, which runs counter to the Stoic values of inner strength and self-reliance. True fulfillment, according to Stoicism, comes from living by one's own principles and virtues as opposed to looking to other people for validation or acceptance. Insecurity and a lack of genuineness in one's behavior are frequently the results of depending on outside approval for one's sense of value. The significance of developing self-assurance and obtaining internal validation is emphasized by Stoics. Seeking approval from others can also encourage a reliance on their judgment, which is detrimental to one's independence and self-sufficiency. Stoicism urges people to prioritize moral integrity and personal virtues over approval or acknowledgement from others. Ignorance of accountability. Refusing to take on responsibility is a bad habit that erodes character and goes against the integrity and personal accountability that are important to Stoicism. Stoicism encourages people to accept responsibility for their decisions and actions, regardless of the circumstances around them. Refusing to take on responsibility is frequently motivated by a wish to place the blame elsewhere or a fear of failing. This behavior is detrimental to moral and personal development. Stoics place a strong emphasis on acknowledging one's part in influencing events and drawing lessons from both achievements and setbacks. People who shirk accountability maintain a victim attitude, which makes it difficult for them to develop virtues like bravery and resiliency. Accepting responsibility, according to Stoicism, promotes self-respect and adds to a feeling of fulfillment and purpose. Adverse social relatives. Against the tenets of Stoicism, self-acceptance and virtue, making unwholesome societal comparisons is a bad habit that erodes inner calm and contentment. Stoicism encourages people to put more emphasis on their own development and internal virtues than on how they compare to other people. Envy, insecurity, and discontentment with one's personal circumstances are frequently the results of unhealthy social comparisons. Stoics hold that material success or accomplishments on the outside do not bring true happiness. To constantly compare oneself to others' achievements or social standing is to become sidetracked from the quest of morality and personal development. According to Stoicism, every person's path is different, and drawing parallels will only hinder one's ability to grow and find fulfillment in life. The Stoics promote self-awareness and appreciation for one's own qualities rather than comparing oneself to others. Fear of being rejected or failing. In opposition to the Stoic values of courage and acceptance of life's uncertainties, the fear of rejection or failure is a prevalent and constricting habit that stunts one's ability to grow and become resilient. According to Stoicism, obstacles and failures are a natural part of life, and real strength comes from overcoming them with bravery and resiliency. People frequently stop themselves from following their goals and reaching their full potential out of fear of rejection or failure. Stoics place a strong emphasis on viewing obstacles as chances for development and education. The need to stay comfortable and feel secure is the source of this dread. But Stoicism teaches that real security comes from strengthening and fortifying oneself from the inside out. When people let fear control their behavior, they lose out on worthwhile experiences and chances for personal growth. Reframing rejection as a call to pursue more meaningful endeavors and failure as a teaching opportunity are two ideas that Stoicism promotes. An overindulgence in material possessions. Over-attachment to material goods is a habit that undermines inner tranquility and runs counter to the virtue and self-control tenets of Stoicism. True contentment and satisfaction, according to Stoicism, originate from interior values rather than material belongings or prosperity. An overabundance of attachment to worldly possessions fosters a dependence on outside resources for security and happiness. Stoics support temperance, or the practice of moderation, and emphasize the value of character traits over worldly possessions. This behavior is frequently the result of the false assumption that accumulating more stuff will make one happy in the long run. Stoicism, on the other hand, places a strong emphasis on developing inner strength and the transience of material things. When people obsess over their belongings, they fail to cultivate qualities like kindness, contentment, and thankfulness. Absence of self-control. Self-control is a bad habit that goes against the discipline and self-mastery of the Stoics and compromises moral integrity and personal growth. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on developing self-control in order to match deeds with qualities like moderation and temperance. Impulsive actions and decisions, motivated by momentary impulses rather than well-reasoned judgment, are signs of a lack of self-control. Stoics hold that leading a moral and satisfying life requires exercising self-control. This behavior frequently results in regrettable deeds and outcomes that impede human development and undermine inner serenity. According to Stoicism, real freedom arises from controlling oneself and acting in accordance with reason, independent of outside forces. Ignoring altruistic deeds. Contrary to the tenets of Stoicism, which emphasize leading a life of integrity and virtue, neglecting virtuous deeds is a bad habit that compromises moral character and fulfillment. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on the value of incorporating characteristics like justice, courage, knowledge, and temperance into one's daily actions. Moral decline and a loss of harmony with one's beliefs and ideals are frequently the results of neglecting good deeds. Stoics hold that living a more purposeful and happy life results from consistently practicing virtues. This behavior may be the result of complacency or ignorance of how one's actions affect both other people and oneself. According to Stoicism, leading a virtue-filled life necessitates deliberate effort and ongoing introspection to make sure one is in line with moral principles. People lose out on opportunities to develop resilience, integrity, and inner strength when they disregard virtue. Stoics believe that in order to promote personal development and make a favorable impact on society, virtues should be actively practiced in thought, word, and deed. Pessimism and adverse thoughts. Pessimism and negative thinking are bad habits that undermine resilience and impede human development. They go against the acceptance and reason that are important to the Stoic philosophy. The practice of Stoicism emphasizes the value of having a positive yet grounded perspective on life and concentrating on the things that one can manage. A skewed view of reality is frequently the result of pessimism and negative thinking, which breeds helplessness and hopelessness. Stoics place a strong emphasis on the ability to think logically and on remaining calm in the face of difficulty. This habit may be the consequence of traumatic events in the past or deeply ingrained thought patterns that erode resilience and confidence. People can build resilience and a more balanced outlook on life by accepting reason and rephrasing unfavorable ideas. People who practice Stoicism are encouraged to confront their negative ideas and embrace and be grateful for the difficulties they face in life. Reminding oneself of the past. Reminiscing over previous mistakes is a bad habit that impedes mental clarity and personal development, going against the acceptance and present moment focus of Stoicism. Instead of focusing on regrets, Stoicism emphasizes the value of embracing the past and using it as a springboard for learning and development. A persistent focus on previous transgressions or lost chances results in feelings of shame, remorse, and self-doubt. Stoics place a strong emphasis on the ability to overcome bad emotions with acceptance and reason. This behavior is frequently the result of an obsession with unchangeable results or a fear of making the same mistakes twice. People who follow Stoicism are encouraged to learn from their past experiences without obsessing on them and to practice self-forgiveness. People can embrace personal growth and resilience and release themselves from the clutches of previous regrets by practicing mindfulness and being in the present moment. Stoics encourage embracing one's previous actions and viewing them as opportunities for growth and self-improvement in order to build inner strength and resilience. Impulsive reaction. The detrimental habit of impulsive reaction runs counter to the tenets of Stoicism, mindfulness, and reasoned action by undermining self-control and reasoned decision-making. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on the value of reasoned responses to outside stimuli as opposed to impulsive ones. Impulsive reactivity frequently results in rash and unpleasant actions that are influenced by feelings or outside events. According to Stoic philosophy, those who practice mindfulness and self-awareness are better able to respond with greater wisdom and clarity. This behavior could be the result of an inability to control one's emotions or a propensity to put short-term objectives ahead of long-term objectives. According to Stoicism, real freedom originates from controlling one's impulses and acting in accordance with reasoned judgment independent of outside influences. Stoics advise preserving emotional balance and making decisions based on one's morals and beliefs. Absence of appreciation. Ignorance of thankfulness is a bad habit that erodes joy and contentment and runs counter to the acceptance and appreciation that characterizes Stoicism. Stoicism places a strong emphasis on developing an attitude of thankfulness for all of life's blessings and difficulties, seeing them as chances for development and education. An attitude of entitlement or scarcity that results in unhappiness and unmet desires is typically the root cause of a lack of gratitude. Stoics believe that there is intrinsic value in every experience and that we should embrace each moment with thankfulness. This tendency can show up as an incessant need for more or as a propensity to ignore life's blessings. According to Stoicism, genuine happiness originates from inside and is based on acceptance and gratitude for the situation as it is. People can change their viewpoint and discover delight in the little things by developing an attitude of appreciation, which promotes inner calm and resilience. In order to cultivate a sense of abundance and satisfaction, Stoics advocate cultivating thankfulness through regular introspection and acceptance of life's blessings.